We know that the most important member of our team are our students, but our teachers, our parents, and our district support have to work together with our students for a successful school year in this new setting. I want to thank our leadership for allowing us to branch out and try this new type of communication with our parents. And parents, we do have people answering your questions in our Facebook live stream, so we're glad that you're there. And we'll also be answering some of our most frequently asked questions that we've received so far. Next slide, please. Now we'll have Brenda Gonzalez, principal of Pierce Elementary School, to talk about things that we would like our students to do.
At Southside, we have a priority of students first, and so we want to make sure that our students know to check their Southside website for any assignments and teacher updates. That also includes their Google Classroom or any other platform that their classroom is using. We're asking also that students create a quiet workplace. Parents, if you could help your students create a place for learning so that they are uninterrupted and that they are away from distractions. We ask that you be on time with needed materials. This includes some of the regular school materials that are on the school supply list, such as paper, pencils, crayons, rulers, and such. We ask that you use only the technology needed to participate live online classes. Mute your microphone when the teacher is teaching or other students are talking so that the environment remains respectful. Actively participate in sessions with kind words and with kind actions. Be sure to submit completed assignments on time. Be sure to contact your teachers for help anytime that you have questions, concerns, even suggestions. Stay connected with your teachers. This is through Class Dojo, the Remind app, email, or any other way that your teachers or campuses are communicating with you. Be mindful of your workload and your well-being, students. That is our priority as well. So we are looking out for academics, but we are also looking out for your well-being. If something comes up, please let us know. And encourage and praise your peers and teachers that are being cardinals. Be sure that you are expressing positive comments, particularly when we are working through this together.
Thank you, Ms. Gonzalez. As we all know, we're learning how to deal with our online educational platform. Thank you. Next, we're going to have Ms. Puente, who is our principal at Heritage Elementary, and she's going to talk about our plans for our teachers to contribute to student success.
Good evening to all of our parents. Our teachers will be teaching you and skills. Also, features in Google Classroom, the use of microphone and cell phone. The teachers will also provide regularly scheduled office hours to connect with students and families. All of our teachers will have office hours, daily office hours for this purpose. Teachers will grade completed assignments and provide feedback just as they would a traditional school setting. They will be checking in on the students on a regular basis. They will keep parents informed of assignments and how the students are doing. They will encourage that are being a cardinal, following our cardinal expectations as they do in a traditional school, and be responsible.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Puente. And parents, we apologize. We are all doing on different internet providers, and sometimes we do cut out. I apologize for that. We always do have our slides available, and we will answer your questions if you didn't get something by the end of the session. Now we are going to have Alejandra Gallego, and she's going to talk about things that parents can do to help our Southside ISD team for student success.
Good evening, parents, and thank you for joining us. We're asking that for your support as we embark on this virtual instruction to start the school year. And there are many different ways that you can support your student. We're asking that you support your children's teacher in their online instruction. that we establish a predictable routine or schedule for your child's day so that they can follow their virtual schedule. Setting some home expectations of how they can behave throughout the day at home, just to ease the process of maintaining that virtual schedule. Establishing a workspace for your child to use while they're studying and learning online. Also, we'd like for you to confirm or with the teacher the method of participation that your child would use for online instruction, whether it be video, chat room, microphone, cell phone. We'd also like for you to monitor communication from your teacher, your child's teacher in school. And we, encourage your student and your child for doing his or her work. Also, please be mindful of your child's well-being. Again, like Ms. Gonzalez said, we're here to monitor the students' well-being as well as their academics. And also provide positive feedback for when your child is being a cardinal. So for demonstrating the cardinal expectations of being safe, being respectful, and being responsible.
Thank you, Ms. Gallegos. We appreciate you going over those with us. Next, we have our Deputy Superintendent, Dr. Fred Hayes, and he's going to talk about our district level of support.
Thank you, Dr. Bell, and I want to thank the team for the work that they have done on this presentation and on the work that we've done as we prepare to go back to school. It's an exciting time, even though we will admit it is a challenging time, but we're excited about it, and we know that we're going to have a great start to the year, even though it will be somewhat different than what we've experienced in the past. So as you can see there from the slide, the district, things that the district is committing to do, that we're going to teach new skills and expectations in this virtual environment. Students will learn how to engage in a virtual environment, which is something that is new to most of us. Again, we will have a great start to the year as we do that. The district will commit also to be prepared to support teachers providing online instruction. We know that when we ended the year last year that there were some challenges with virtual online instruction, but we also know now that we've had a whole summer to work with that, and we feel a lot more confident going into it. So we're committed as a district providing good support for our teachers. We commit to providing regularly scheduled office hours so that our students can connect with our teachers and our families can connect with our teachers. So you'll be communicated with consistently about times that your teachers will be available, whether they're at the pre-K level all the way to high school. So again, we are committed to providing time so that our parents, our students can connect with our teachers. We are committed also to providing check-in with students and families and teachers on a regular basis. There's going to be that constant communication between our teachers and our students and families. We feel confident that we have a great group of teachers at Southside ISD, and we know that they care about their kids. They have a heart for their kids. The challenges right now being back in the classroom are great, and there's a big concern about health and safety, but there's so many of them right now who are saying they want to be back with their kids. So we know that they're going to be checking in with their students consistently and the families consistently. We vow to keep our parents informed of what's going on in the district. We have Facebook, as some of you are watching on today. We have a Twitter account. We have other accounts. We have our website, our campus websites, which are kept up on a consistent basis. And since Mr. Ramirez is here, our website has a total revamp, and I encourage you to get online and look at that revamp of our website. It's an amazing thing, and there are a lot of resources there for you to grab a hold of. We are committed also to keep parents updated on all the things that are going on. And then finally on the list, we will commit to encourage and praise our students, our families, and our teachers, just on the fact of being one, being a cardinal, being a team. Thank you, Dr. Bell.
Thank you, Dr. Hayes. I appreciate that. Next, we have a slide about how we're going to log on. I believe Christine is going to cover this. Well, as you see on our page of how to log on, there are several different ways to click in and start your remote learning. The first thing you can do is look at our Students Remote Learning, which is a button found right on our front page of our Southside ISD website. In the upper left-hand corner of this slide, you can see the young student or the high school graduate right in the center and the bottom of the screen. All you need to do is click there to launch into our online learning experience. There are other ways to get to the same spot. Each campus website will have a student button, as you see in number 3, for links to remote learning and other resources. Our technology team and our instructional technology specialists have done an outstanding job of setting this up, and our curriculum team and teachers are just busting and ready to teach some great lessons to our students. Next, we're going to have Ms. Feldman, and she's going to talk about synchronous and asynchronous learning.
Good evening, families. Thank you for being with us. Synchronous learning is learning that is happening in real time virtually with a teacher that is interacting with students. This type of learning provides active discussion, immediate feedback, and personal familiarity with students. Asynchronous learning is learning that happens virtually with self-guided lessons, videos, and questions being exchanged through a chat board. A teacher is not present during this instructional time.
So there are 2 opportunities for learning on our online platform. Now we will hear from our different levels in what our synchronous opportunities will be and what our asynchronous opportunities will be for learning. First, to cover that will be Ms. Rebecca Herrera. She is our principal at our Menchaca Early Learning Center.
Thank you, Dr. Bell, and thank you, Ms. Spellman, for giving us that information. Good evening, parents. I'm Mrs. Herrera from Menchaca Early Childhood Center, and I want to welcome you guys to Southside. As you can see on our screen, we do have a sample virtual schedule here for pre-K. Each student, we ask that they eat anytime between 7:30 and 7:50 so that they could be ready to get online with our teachers by 8 a.m. Each teacher will cover our social emotional learning, which is consistent of the second step curriculum. We also have our English language arts, our specials, a math break, and our math lessons, as well as science and social studies. Please see that our pre-K students will end their day at 12:15 and our kinder students will end at 12:45 daily. Each teacher will review their homework from the previous day, but they will also assign homework as well for the rest of the day, which consists of the synchronous and the asynchronous learning. Okay. Our next slide. As you can see, what to expect from our staff members. Here, this coming week, you will receive a phone call from your teacher letting you know when Meet the Teacher is, which is August 13th, and what time you guys will be meeting for Meet the Teacher. They will let you introduce themselves, but they will give you a specific time to meet together so that they can meet their students. They'll go over any synchronous or asynchronous learning and answer any questions that you have. All our core subjects, again, will be covered. We ask that every student is ready to go by 8 o'clock in the morning, and we ask that they all participate. All our students here at Menchaca will be doing exercising. They will have specials. They'll have art, music, library, computers class as well. Again, if you have any questions, please email your teachers once they call you. Please join us on Facebook. Please join us our Twitter page as well as our Remind app. If you have any questions, please call the school at 882-1610 for additional information. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Herrera. Now we're going to have Ms. Brenda Gonzalez, who is going to go over our elementary virtual schedule. This will be for all 4 elementary campuses, grades 1 through 5.
So parents, we put in the synchronous learning, which is learning that's happening live with the teacher, and we put in asynchronous learning, where you would have teacher office hours available, but you would also have where your student could still continue their learning, but not necessarily sitting through a live classroom session. We started it off at 7:15 to 7:30 so that your child would be able to meet their needs first, and that would be having breakfast on their own, like they would on the regular traditional schedule when they arrive at our campuses. They would then move into the social emotional learning piece. That component that we put is so that our students have the opportunity to practice social skills with each other and to learn some of those skills as they are experiencing COVID distance learning currently. We put in time for reading and language arts, art and music, mathematics, PE time, and we also have a STAR block where our students would still be getting skills necessary to be successful with STAR assessments so that we're not forgetting what might be waiting for us in the future. We gave you time for lunch and recess on your own, also science and social studies, writing time, and then a time for daily wrap up and reflection. We do want to make sure that you know that packets are available for students who are not able to participate with us online. Technology is also available if you do not have technology, and that campuses will be contacting parents or families with specific details to meet the teacher, technology distribution, as well as packet distribution. On the asynchronous learning, we included time for AR reading challenges, RAS Kids, ST Math, counseling by appointment, so the students still have available time to meet with our counselors, as well as time to have related services through our special education department, and for differentiated learning when students need more time for enrichment or intervention. We wanted to be sure to include everything that we could to provide as much normalcy that we could for students who are practicing the school setting outside of our regular school classrooms. We are available for any questions that you have at the end of this session, but if for some reason we're not answering any questions that have to do with particular things to this schedule, we are asking that you contact your campus at any time so that they may provide more details.
Thank you, Ms. Gonzalez. You did a great job. Next, we're going to move on to our middle schools. And we have both our middle school principals are available, but Mr. Gaines is going to go over our virtual schedule.
Thank you, Dr. Bell. Thank you, Dr. Bell. Our schedule is a lot similar to the first two schedules that you have seen, except that ours is going to be broken down by grade level. As you can see here, each 6th grade, 7th grade, and 8th grade will have a different time and a different schedule. We will be posting this on our website and on our different social medias, and it'll include the times on there instead of the period numbers. If you look included in the plan, if you look at our 6th grade schedule and you go down to the 5th period, that's the time for intervention, kind of like that STAR time that they have at the elementary. We also are providing elective hours for the students who are in electives, and office hours for those elective teachers who may need some additional time with their students. If you can see, this is both a asynchronous and a synchronous plan. All of our core classes will be taught synchronously. If you looked at the ELAR, the math, the science, and the social studies will be taught in class 100% with your teacher, where they can interact and get the lessons that they need. They'll also be able to get those the packets or the asynchronous by getting videos and stuff from their teachers so that they could produce the material after hours if the students do not have access during the day. But then we've also built in throughout the day the ability for you to contact your teacher, as was mentioned earlier, so that they could possibly email back by that next day if you have any questions. But the plan is for the core classes, the math, the English, the social studies, and the science, so that they would be able to have that one-on-one face-to-face interaction. And we've also built that in for our fine arts and our athletics and PE. And all CTE, we're going to offer some additional CTE courses where they get high school. If you look in the 8th grade, down at 7th period, there'll be some CTE courses that you may have already known about because you've done a choice card for your students. And so that's an exciting thing that we're offering those additional CTE credits for next year. As well as our Spanish and our Algebra 1, those will all be taught synchronously. And we built in those elective hours for the asynchronous learning as we move forward. You will be contacted by your campus and through website this week. The importance of getting the technology. We'll be providing technology later next week, and you'll also be getting a list of all the courses that your child will take. And then you should expect by next Friday that your teachers would be emailing your students, your children, so that they know exactly what that Google Classroom code looks like. It'll be sent by their teachers by the end of next week so that they'll be ready to go on Monday. It is important that the students learn how to check email because they could also receive those codes even prior to that, and they could get on earlier. But the important thing is that next week that they pick up either a device, and we'll also give them their schedule and just explain the process of checking email and how to get online.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Gaines. Next, we're going to have our high school principal, Ms. Sant, talk to us about the virtual schedule at Southside High School.
Thank you, Dr. Bell. Good evening, Southside community. Just wanted to give you a little information regarding the schedule of how we would operate at the high school level. We are using Google Classroom as our primary platform for the instructional delivery, and that will be asynchronously, through the Google Classroom. However, for our EOC tested areas, we have additional supports and access to live teaching sessions during the times indicated in the schedule. Also built into the schedule, the students will have access to their teachers live so they can interact with teachers, engage in the lesson that they would have seen on the Google Classroom, and ask any questions that they might have. You will also see that we have 2 different opportunities daily for supports through our co-teachers and any students who might have special needs or need some additional assistance with those lessons. And so you can see that math and science are grouped together, and then we have history and English. And again, those supports are embedded daily into the schedule. Just as Mr. Gaines indicated, it's going to be extremely important that each student checks their Gmail frequently for information. Our teachers will be reaching out to them through email, providing the codes, inviting them into the Google Classroom. We also will be giving out this information next week with regard to student schedules and the classes they'll be enrolled in, as well as the teachers who they'll be working directly with.
Thank you, Ms. Sant. Now we're going to go to our first frequently asked question. Mr. Martell, the principal at Matthew Middle School, is going to help us understand how and when do I get my student's schedule if my student is a secondary student?
Thank you, Dr. Bellman. That's a great question. We have arranged for technology pickup times. We're going to be providing you with additional information. Right now, we're looking at the technology pickup times for Lozoya and Matthew beginning on Tuesday, tentatively. And then we will be contacting parents and letting them know. We are a one-to-one district, so the expectation is that every single student will receive a Chromebook at the secondary level. And we will be providing Chromebooks, consumable books, as well as calculators with the student schedules on those days that we hand out the technology. Ms. Santz and the high school team also has days that are scheduled for technology distribution along with calculators and schedules, and that's going to happen for the high school on Thursday and Friday of next week, which is the 13th and the 14th.
Thank you, Mr. Martell. Our next question has to do with our elementaries. Ms. Gonzalez is going to answer this question.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Bell. Campuses will be contacting the students and the families to let them know who their teacher is going to be. Parents, keep an eye out for your regular communication that you have with that campus. Campuses that use Class Dojo, the Remind app, also mailing things out, emailing, or phone calling. We know that this is an anxious time and everyone's wanting to know who their teachers are, and we are planning to roll that out as we would at any time. Meet the Teacher for elementary level is going to be on August the 14th. And again, you will be getting that from your campus, but if you just practice patience, we're going to get to you, we promise.
Thank you, Ms. Gonzalez. Our next question has to do with how do I get my child's ID number? This is otherwise known as your lunch number that you use when you go to the cafeteria. There are different ways you can get this number if you're not aware of it. You can call your campus and they can look it up for you. But when you call, you're going to have to give them some type of identification that shows that you are a parent. They may ask you questions about a child's date of birth or other questions on your child's account, or require you to demonstrate some type of identification by texting or emailing. If that's not available, you can always call our main number at 882-1600 and ask for extension in student services of 5108. Our next question will be handled by Ms. Puente.
Returning students do not need to register. I know a lot of our parents have been asking if returning students need to re-register. Again, the answer is no. However, all families will need to create or update a family access account in Skyward. And all of your information, your email address and telephone numbers will need to be updated. You can do this by contacting your student's campus, or you can call the Student Services Department at 210-882-1600, extension 5108. or extension 1294.
Thank you, Ms. Puente. It's really going to be important that everyone checks their email as we continue with this distance learning situation. Next, we have Mr. Herring, our Director of Technology, to answer a few questions.
Thank you, Dr. Bell. So good evening, parents. So first question, what will happen if a child cannot log in during the time of instruction because of technical difficulties? Well, we have several options for you if that does occur. First and foremost, if you go to the district website, there is a button there that says request technical support. If you click on that, it will allow you to enter your information and put in the issue that you're having, and you will be contacted by someone from the technology department. The other thing that we do have also is a technology support hotline. That hotline will be available until 8 p.m. for the first few weeks for your convenience. The next question, what if my child cannot log in until I get home after work? So we want our children to log in even though they cannot attend the synchronous classes. We encourage those that we understand that there's going to be circumstances where kids and students cannot log in at a particular time. We still want you to be able to gain the lessons that everybody else is during the live sessions. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Herring. Our next question has to do with attendance. Ms. Feldman is going to answer it for us.
When students log into their Google Classroom, they will be counted present. For families choosing packets, contact with your child's teacher will have to be made daily. We will also be following up daily with the families choosing the packet option.
Thank you, Ms. Feldman. So just so everybody understands, you have to log in every day to your Google Classroom to be counted present. That can be logging in anytime from 12:01 in the AM to 11:59 in the PM. But we do have to have you logging in every day for that to be counted as a day of attending school. Ms. Feldman, can you take this next question too about our instructional settings?
All students will start the school year on August 17th as a remote learning student. When Southside ISD is able to begin in-person instruction, Parents will have an opportunity to choose which method of instruction is best for their child. Once the instructional method is selected, the students will need to stay in that instructional setting until the end or beginning of a 9-week period. A different instructional method may be selected at that time.
Thank you, Ms. Feldman. Our next question has to do with how do we access Skyward? Skyward is the district's current student information system, and we have a lot of information there that helps us keep in contact with you. There's a Skyward link available on our Southside ISD district webpage at www.southsideisd.org under Quick Links. You can also contact your student's campus for assistance. Again, those of us in student services will do our best to help. The number is 210-882-1600, extension 5108 or 1294. Our next question will be handled about how do students log in for classes from one of our instructional technology specialists.
Hi there, students and parents. To log into your classes, you will log into your Google account. You can do this by going to google.com. Also, there are links on the district website and your campus websites that will direct you to your online learning. Students log in using, if you're a brand new student, you don't know this, but your existing login information, which is the following format. It is first name, last name, 4-digit lunch number or ID number at southsideisd.org. And your password is the child's first initial of the first name capitalized, that 4-digit lunch number or ID number, and the initial of the last name, again capitalized. All of this information will be provided to you by your teachers as well, and we will also have login how-to videos provided for you on the district website and campus website.
Thank you so much, Ms. Matthews. We appreciate you being a new member of our team. Our next question is about when can I pick up, or will a teacher be available if my child has a question? Mr. Gaines from LaSoya, can you answer this one for us?
Thank you, Dr. Bell. Yes, all levels have incorporated office hours into their schedule. If you just get with the teacher's schedule, they'll be able to tell you their office hours when they log into that Google Classroom. Additionally, teachers will be available after hours through email and will be able to respond by the next day.
Thank you, Mr. Gaines. We have had this question addressed a little bit earlier, but parents and students are wanting to know when can they get their technology. Ms. Puente, are you able to give us a little more information?
I am. As Mr. Martell mentioned earlier, all schools will be distributing technology devices, Chromebooks and iPads, next week. The dates and times will be shared on the campus web pages and on Facebook. Again, all schools will distribute technology devices next week.
Thank you, Ms. Puente. I understand that we've had a large number of questions coming in on our Facebook Live involving our special populations. We'll be sure to add that as to one of our most important topics to take up on a future presentation. Now to close, we have our Deputy Superintendent, Dr. Fred Hayes.
Thank you, Dr. Bell, and thank you, team, for the great work that you all have done today. You know, parents and community members who are out there listening, we put out a lot of information to you today, and we've attempted to do that throughout the beginning of the back to school process, if you will. Over the next week or more, you're going to continue to get a whole lot more information until probably at the point to where you're just going to say, I'm tired of hearing from them. But we believe that we cannot over communicate. And as I've stated in my part of the conversation, we have a wonderful staff here. The team is dedicated to the success of our young people and to the success of our communities. We're dedicated to the wealth and to the health, and well-being, the wealth too, but the health and well-being of our young people and our teachers. So as we go through and start this school year, we're excited about it. We know it's going to be different, but it's going to be a good different. And if we all pull together, it's going to be a great year. Thank you very much and have a great evening.
Thank you, Dr. Hayes. Thank you all for joining us, and we'll be doing this, I'm sure, once a week for a little while till we can get everything explained. Have a good evening.